And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, we are going to be covering the play-in games that are going to be happening tonight. They start at 7:30 on TNT, so be ready to tune in at that time. But the first matchup, we're just going to go straight into this. So the first matchup we have is the Lakers going up against the Pelicans. And this is a one-and-done game. And based on the previous matchup that the Lakers played against the Pelicans, they can definitely beat this team. And they won last game 124-108 with the healthy roster and with Anthony Davis and LeBron James playing phenomenally. So the real question in this matchup is whether or not the Lakers are going to just lose this game just so they could avoid playing the Denver Nuggets. Because, as I said previously, and as many other people have said, the Nuggets are arguably the best team in the NBA right now, and they swept the Lakers last year in the postseason, and now they're expected to play them again in the very first round, which could really put an end to the Lakers and their potential playoff hopes of making it farther than the first round and making a relatively deep playoff run. And this would be only the second time in LeBron James's career that he would lose in the first round if that matchup were to happen, because as much as I have faith in LeBron, I don't think this Lakers team is going to be enough to be able to beat the defending champs in the very, very first round of the playoffs. I just don't see that happening. So the real question is whether or not they're going to lose the first game, then play another play-in game so they could play OKC in the first round, which is a better matchup for them and is a team that they've beaten several times in the regular season. And the fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder are relatively young, that's also a big factor as to why the Lakers have a better chance of beating OKC as opposed to beating the Denver Nuggets, because the inexperience that the OKC have in the NBA playoffs is going to be, it's very, very apparent. And it's where would you go if you were the Lakers if you went up against the Denver Nuggets? I really don't know where you'd go after that. Now, on the Pelicans side, they could win this game and they face off against Denver, which I think they would lose, or they could also lose this game and then face off against OKC, which might be a better matchup for them. But I don't really see the Pelicans making a deep playoff run against any of those teams. No matter who they play in the playoffs, I really don't see them making a deep run. And it might be because of inexperience, and it might also be just because it's they're the only team that I actually could see them beating in the playoffs is the Clippers. And they messed up their chances of being able to play with them, as Dallas was able to keep winning and overtake that seed from them. So if there was any hope for them to make it past the first round, it was going up against the Clippers. But since that isn't going to happen, I really don't see it happening. Also, speaking of the Thunder, I completely forgot to do this as a segment, so give me one. So this is breaking news because Mark Daigneault, forgive me if I botched that last name, the head coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder, he had recently won Coach of the Year, and I completely forgot about that. And I forgot to mention that in the previous segments before, as the award was brought out. But he got the Coach of the Year award for being named for leading the youngest team to the 1 seed. So when you think about it like that, I really think it's definitely deserved. He definitely deserved the Coach of the Year award way above over every other head coach that was in the running for that award. So it was going to be between either him or the Timberwolves, in my personal opinion, but I feel like he definitely deserved that award. So I just wanted to point that out because I, again, completely forgot about that to mention it in the previous segments. And Coach of the Year, it's really I wouldn't say it's overlooked, but it's sort of a joke, I guess you could say, because I stopped taking the Coach of the Year award that seriously when the Raptors head coach in 2018 won Coach of the Year after being fired. So how do you win Coach of the Year if you're fired? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I just always, ever since then, I haven't really taken the Coach of the Year award that seriously because, the coach literally just got fired and he was named Coach of the Year. And that isn't the only time that's happened. And it's how do you fire a head coach even though he won Coach of the Year? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't really take it as seriously as I take the rest of the awards. Now, back to the Pelicans and the Lakers matchup, I can't really tell who's going to win that first matchup. I really, really can't because I have no idea if the Lakers are going to just bother losing this game so that way they could, play OKC, or if they're going to try and win this game. But regardless of whether or not they do, if they both play at 100%, I think the Lakers have the better chance of winning this matchup. Now, the next play-in game that would be played would be the Warriors going up against the Kings. So this one is a little bit complicated because I feel like the Kings, matchup-wise, they have the best matchups in order to beat the Warriors because they have De'Aaron Fox, who could provide as much of a scoring option as Steph Curry, as well as Domantas Sabonis, who also can provide a lot more scoring option for the team, as well as, help the team out in every other aspect, getting rebounds, getting assists. However, the Golden State Warriors, when you look at it the other way, they also have really good matchups because Steph Curry can battle against De'Aaron Fox, and Draymond Green would be able to, theoretically, he should be able to guard Domantas Sabonis with his elite defense. If he has a very good night defending Sabonis, that could definitely impact the results of this game. So it's very, very tough. And not to mention the fact that the Warriors have already beaten the Kings in a playoff series. However, they did lose in Game 1, and this is a one-game series, so anything can happen. And it's really just down to which team can get hot and stay hot for the game. So I feel like the Kings, they have a much better chance of being able to do that with the assets that they have on the team, as well as the assets coming off of the bench for that team. Because Malik Monk, he's in the running for Sixth Man of the Year. And with all that in mind, the fact that they do have that candidate, and they also have an MVP caliber player with Domantas Sabonis, again, he's top 10 in the MVP odds, as well as De'Aaron Fox, who is a very good and very underrated point guard in this league, I could really see the Kings winning, but it's that first time that they played Golden State that's really making me question whether or not they're ready for this kind of pressure. Now, again, this might also flip on its heel and be oh, they beat us last time, so we're going to take this matchup very, very personally. And again, anything can happen in a one-game series. So I really have no idea who's going to win in this matchup with the Warriors and the Kings, because I want to say the Kings, but the Warriors, they've beaten them before. So, and Steph Curry has owned them before. In Game 7, Steph Curry dropped 50 points. That is, on the biggest stage, he dropped that many points and was able to put the Kings away. So I feel this play-in game, it's that same amount of, it's that Game 7 pressure. And Steph Curry showed that he can meet up to those pressures and that expectation in the game. So I'm really not too sure. Now, depending on who moves on after winning, so let's say the Kings move on, and let's say their next matchup would be the Pelicans. Now, who would win in that matchup? I think the Kings would win in that matchup against the Pelicans. They also have the matchups. They have the lineup that they need. They have a point guard. CJ McCollum is also a relatively good guard. De'Aaron Fox and CJ can match in points. So Bonus might be able to hold Zion to a little bit of scoring while at the same time producing the exact same amount of scoring and assists and all that other production that he brings to the table. But the Pelicans, now that they have, I think it's really going to be down to how well Brandon Ingram plays, because Brandon Ingram just came back from an injury, and he's a very difficult defender to guard with his length. So assuming that if he has a good game, and it's pretty likely that he does, then the Kings might not have enough to be able to combat that. Now, if the Kings go up against the Lakers in the next, let's say the Pelicans win and then the Lakers lose, if they match up against the Lakers, I feel like they're going to actually win against the Lakers, because Sabonis' record against Anthony Davis, he has never lost a game against Anthony Davis. So this is sort of the risk with the Lakers and losing in that first game of the play-in, because they risk playing the Kings, who have constantly beaten them in the regular season every single time. I don't understand what it is with the Kings, but they literally turn into a different animal when they go against LeBron. De'Aaron Fox always drops 40 points when he goes up against LeBron. Sabonis always beats Anthony Davis. And it's a lot of these things and a lot of these scenarios that are going to play into this game. And it's like, I really don't think that, it might be superstitious. You might call it superstition, but it's going to be really tough for me to pick the Lakers to win that game if they do go up against the Kings. And now, if let's say the Warriors win and the Warriors go up against the Pelicans, now I think that's really, really tough, because I think Draymond Green should be able to withhold Zion. Like, if Sabonis can't do it, then I think Draymond Green can definitely. He has the strength to be able to hold Zion for minimal production. But it would really be down to the rest of the Golden State Warriors team and how they play offensively. And obviously, Draymond Green's defense can slow down the offense of the Pelicans, thus allowing them to win in the end. Now, if they go up against the Lakers, however, I don't think they're going to beat the Lakers, because the Lakers have shown that they can, and LeBron James has shown that he can beat Steph Curry on an even playing field no matter what. And not to mention the fact that the last time the Warriors played against the Lakers, it took them a record-breaking performance it took them almost a record-breaking performance from their team, as well as Anthony Davis being out of the game, just for them to win that game. And you're not going to get that kind of performance every single night, because they tied third for their franchise record in total threes made. And obviously, it's really difficult for a team to shoot that consistently, especially when all the pressure is on you in the play-in tournament. So that could play into effect. So I don't really see them winning against the Lakers, but those are the matchups that I have for the play-in games tonight, as well as my predictions to what I think would happen going forward. So with that, we are out of time for this third segment. So now I will be going into the fourth segment, where I talk about playoff pressure and players and teams and coaches who are going to have the most pressure going into this postseason. So I will be right back after this short break.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC. to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.